Hello, I'm Mark Bowen with Vego Garden, and I'm here today with Danny Wilson, founder of Farm Dirt Compost.
30% or more of our landfill space is filled with food waste, which is easily compostable. No matter what kind of food waste, it's easily compostable. One thing that people tend to say, especially in Texas, is, well, we have lots of space, it's not a big deal. But the issue is not about space, because when you mix food waste with the chemicals that are in a landfill, like say mercury. We have a lot of mercury in the landfill from the CFL light bulbs, thermometers, etc. Lots of stuff have mercury in them. Well, when the decomposing food waste actually mixes with the mercury, it changes form into what's called methyl mercury. And methyl mercury is airborne. So it's all the toxicity of mercury, but in a convenient to breathe form. And it goes everywhere. It settles down on the land, it settles in the water, and eventually through rain and running water, it eventually makes it into our oceans. And that's why, part of the reason we have, issues with mercury toxicity in fish, So if you're, so if folks are someone who said, well, we have lots of space, just remember when you're going fishing, it affects everything.
So here we are out on the compost yard at Farm Dirt. And so Danny, what do we have here? Somebody just brought this load in?
Yeah, someone just brought this load in. This is the tree trimmers who keep the power lines clear for us.
Okay.
And so they grind up these chips and leaves, and you can see it's got a really high component of leaves in here. It's not pure wood chips. And this material is really rich and really moist. And so the compost, the microbes can mine out a lot of silica and other nutrients that are really important for your plants out of this material. And what we do is, this is what we use in the recipe to hold air space. So part of it is like the leaves are for, feeding the microbes and turning into actual compost. But a lot of what these chunky wood chips do, they add air space, so you get a whole bunch of them together like this. And it makes it so that when we blow the air through the compost, it's got a porous, situation to go through, and it's not just trying to push it through a dense mat.
All right, so here we are at another compost ingredient pile, also known as a compost feedstock pile. And I see your scale's a little different. A lot of home composters, they got that little bit coming from the kitchen.
Right.
And then we're on a whole different scale here. So tell us about these food scraps that you use.
We get food scraps from all kinds of companies. Like these watermelon peels are from, the rinds are from a company that makes watermelon juice. And then we have this other material. It's melons. You can see it's melons, pineapples, mangoes, all kinds of stuff. So it's from a big cut fruit operation. So they come and they dump the material whenever they get it. And you can see this is already well mixed, but then whenever we get the tractor in here, he's going to mix those all together and mix it with the wood chips and with the overs, we call them, that have come out of the screening process.
Okay, so here we are at what you're calling an overs pile. I guess this is the compost overs. You screen down a 1/4 inch or finished. So these are the materials the material that gets screened out, right?
That's correct.
That you call compost overs?
Yeah, and compost overs, or otherwise known as microbial hotels.
Okay, so and this is an ingredient in your compost going forward.
This is the ingredient. This is the one that acts like the sourdough starter, so to speak. So this gets all the microbial action kick-started. We've been cultivating these same microbes for almost 10 years now, and it keeps getting better and better. And so that's why we always want more of this material in every batch of compost that we put in.
All right, here we are out on the back part of the back 40 of the compost yard, and we're going to look at some different compost piles at different stages. So Danny, what stage is this pile over here at?
So I know it all looks the same to most folks, but this is our mixed pile. This is the back end of the one that we were just looking at, where he was pushing up the material.
Okay.
And so this is where he mixes it all together, and then he'll take it from here and he goes and puts it on this aerated pile. This is the pile where we engineer the pile in such a way and build it in such a way so that when air is pushed through the pile and exits the holes in the pipes that we put in there, it goes up through the pile. There's no way it can get out except up through the pile. So it has to go through the pile.
Okay, so, and then the next pile's over here in the process, right?
Right. So after this, after it's cooked on the pipes, we go to the curing pile. So even though our process is strong enough to where we can actually take an entire watermelon and in 3 weeks, it just looks like moist coffee grinds. You know, the
Okay.
microbe action is that high. So you won't see anything over from this pile visually, but microbially, when you look at it under a microscope, there's still a lot of activity happening. So that's why we put it in the curing pile, so we can let all the microbial activity calm down and finish digesting all those microscopic bits that we can't see.
So Danny, what's going on here?
So this is our screening process. So he comes in and he dumps it in the hopper up here.
Okay.
And it comes out through the 1/4-inch screen, and only 1/4-inch material can make it through that fine screen.
Okay. All right.
And then all the overs fall out the end of the trommel, is what we call that tube.
Okay.
And then that's what goes to the overs pile.
So this is like a special edition version of compost and biochar that you make specifically for Vego garden customers.
That's right.
It's the Vego regenerative compost.
That's right. And we put this aside, and this is extra aged, and you can see the fine quality of this material, how dark and rich this stuff is, and how broken down it is. And you can see from one pile to the next how it steadily gets darker and more fine and more of an even look.
That's just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, and this has absolutely no smell, maybe an earthy smell. It's amazing.